Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making macaroni and cheese. That's baked macaroni and cheese, and here's everything you're going to need, minus a couple ingredients that I'm going to throw in as I start mixing up my macaroni and cheese. It's going to be milk, cheese. You can use any kind you want. I got Colby Jack and regular cheddar, two different kinds from two different companies, because I like different kind of cheeses from different kind of grocery stores. Some bouillon that I'm going to season my water with, just a little bit, not too much. You just want the pasta to soak up the bouillon seasoning. Pasta, I like this fancy pasta. You can see it got the ridges on it, but you can get whatever kind of pasta you like, but make sure it's elbow. I don't want to say make sure it's elbow because I never made pasta. I never made macaroni and cheese with anything else. And we got our Velveeta cheese, butter, and sour cream. Those are just the things. Okay, so you want to make sure you got a 8-ounce pack of sour cream. You're most likely not going to have to use the whole thing depending on how much macaroni and cheese you're about to make. But okay, let's hop right into it. Okay guys, so my water is boiling. I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of my bouillon inside of the water. I'm going to take a teaspoon. This is a little spoon. I'm going to take one little teaspoon, tap it out, and sprinkle it in my water. And now that the water is boiling, we're going to go ahead and throw the pasta inside of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do one. And a half a cup of pasta. Because I'm not doing that much, I'm just going to bake my macaroni inside my regular little pie skillet. Alright, and then you're going to go ahead and let that cook until the noodles get al dente. Don't cook it too long because you're also going to put it in the oven, so don't forget. Okay, so the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some butter in here. Now I picked up this butter. I can't pronounce the name. It's obviously a foreign name that I can't pronounce. But it has garlic and herb. Do you guys see that? Garlic and herb butter. I'm not going to put too much because we don't want it to taste too much like garlic and herb. We just want to give our macaroni a little bit of taste so that it don't taste bland either. So I'm going to scoop about a 1/4 in here. So about this much. And this butter smells so good. Wow. That's something right there. Okay. Okay, now we want to put enough to cover the bottom of the saucepan so that when we put our cheese in there, it doesn't automatically go zzz. Okay? And that's also why we're keeping it on low, because I think we all know no matter how low you keep cheese on, it's going to sizzle because it melts easily. And that's the point, right? We want it to melt easily. So I'm just letting this melt. It's going to take some time because it's on low. And I got these pre-packaged Velveeta cheese packs. I'm only going to use a couple. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm working with a very small counter. Lord willing, I will have a bigger one in the future. But for right now, we are grateful for what we've got. Okay. So my butter is all nice and melted up. Okay. And then I want to throw some milk in here. We're going to do right now a 1/2 cup of milk. Okay. Now, we're only doing a 1/2 cup of milk because we don't exactly know how much milk we actually going to need. So the one thing you don't want to do is add too much, and then you got super runny cheese sauce. You want it to be kind of a little bit loose, but not runny, if that makes sense. Okay. So I like to cut my cheese up into little bitty. Oh, let me see. Let me show you how this looks. That looks beautiful. Look at that. Oh, it already looks like it's gonna be delicious. Okay, so got my cheese, and that butter's also gonna give it like a nice rich taste. And I want to stress this. I can't stress this enough. You want to make sure that your cheese is room temperature and not cold, because if it's cold, then it'll take longer to melt. Sorry about the noise. My toddler is very clean. So I'm just cutting this up, and I'm also gonna toss it in there. Just toss it in there any kind of way. Cut it up real nice. And the reason why I'm cutting it up is so that it don't take too long to melt. When you go in the cheeses in large chunks, it take a long time to melt. You don't wanna, especially if you're working on a time limit, you don't wanna be waiting on the cheese to melt. And one thing I like to also, I don't know if other people practice this, but I like to practice timed cooking. I like for everything to get done at the same time, because I like to eat all my food warm. I don't like for one thing on my plate to be cold and another thing to be warm. So I try to practice cooking everything at the same time. And that's why we're doing the cream cheese sauce while we do the macaroni. This is not my main dish that I'm making today. But because the main dish takes so long to film, I decided I would film my side dish. Okay, that's my first cube. Here's my second. And this pack comes with 5 little bitty packs of Velveeta, so. And don't forget, Velveeta is not the only cheese that we're gonna add. We're also gonna add the shredded cheese. That's why I say you want your cheese sauce to be a little loose, but not runny, because you're gonna top it off with shredded cheese, which is also really thick. So. And I ain't gonna lie, the cheese is a little messy right now because I've got it at room temperature, but it's better that way, okay? And I want to state the #1 rule in the kitchen. Everybody knows that we always use clean hands, okay? You don't want all kinds of stuff all over your cheese sauce. Okay, and my pot is basically full. I'm gonna cut this last little bit up, okay, and let that sit. Okay, we're back. Okay, now what we want to do, let me show you guys. Get a little bit closer. Okay, so you see how the cheese is sitting up in there real nice? And this basically, you can't see it, but it's slowly melting, okay? And we got our pasta boiling over here looking good. Okay. Alright. We want to give that a quick stir. Like I said, you want to keep stirring it. You want to stir it consistently. And keep it on low heat. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so that we're not cooking on grandma's time. Okay. So, it's going to melt. And you can already see the cheese starting to blend with, you can see the cheese starting to blend with the milk and the butter. That smells good. Okay. Now that's not a lot. Like I said, with macaroni and cheese, I always do to taste. So you can always add in more, but you can't take away. So do everything in increments, in small increments. Half a cup this, a teaspoon that, a teaspoon this, just so that you're not working with salty or runny or watery food. Okay? We're gonna let that cook down. Okay, guys, And our cheese sauce, as you can see, is done. Yippee. Okay. And that's how it should look. Loose, but not too runny. See that? And what's even better is you can see the butter that I put in there in the beginning inside the macaroni. Okay. Okay. So the way I like to do it is I like to mix in a little cheddar first. And what we're going to do is we're going to embed the cheddar inside of the actual macaroni. And then we're going to throw Colby Jack on top. Okay? So don't throw too much in there. You don't want the macaroni to be too thick. And just push it down in there just a little bit. You know, just so that you know that it's in there. And the reason why I say don't put too much is if you know anything about cheese, is it's going to spread the second it starts to melt. Okay, so you don't want it. The macaroni is already, the cream cheese sauce, if you did it right, should already be nice and thick enough. So you don't want it too thick. All right, then we're gonna sprinkle some of this good Colby Jack on the top. Okay, boom, and that's it. And that is baked macaroni and cheese. And here we're gonna top it off with a little garnish. Hold up. I'm gonna throw a little bit of parsley on top. Just okay. Alright guys. And then that's how it's gonna look. So it should look just like this. Really nice and pretty. And then we're gonna pop this in the oven. You can bake this for about 30 to 35 minutes. It shouldn't take that long. If it's taking longer than that, it's probably a little too runny, which is fine. Just take it out the oven, eat it as is, and enjoy it. If it's got a good flavor, hey, fuck it. All right.